listening to the History Things podcast, a conversational approach to discussing social, industrial, maritime, music, and military history. Join us and our special guests as we dive down the rabbit holes of your favorite stories from the past. Follow the History Things podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or online at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Be sure to leave a review and a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast app. Pat and Parker are coming right up. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the show.
Excitement.
That's right. Fantasy.
Adventure.
That's right. All of these things. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the History Things podcast. I'm your host, Pat McGuire. Say, hey, Parker, what's going on, bud?
Hey, not much. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to go on an adventure?
I'm ready to go on a quest of epic discovery.
Are you ready to step outside of our box and comfort zone by a good bit today?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right. We have some crazy music happening in the background.
It's amazing.
Fantastical. You might say fantastical. That's the only word I got.
It is
Why do something better if you got
fantastic.
If you got it right? We're excited today. We have a topic that we've been trying to work out how we want to talk about it for quite some time. We're finally here at the moment. We're very excited. We have a good friend of ours joining us in studio to take us through the history of this very twisted and magical sort of quest and tale here. So let's get right to introducing our friend here, Drew Rittenhouse. Welcome to the History Things podcast. How are you, buddy? You have made it.
Yes.
Couldn't be stopped by the flu or new jobs or the weather. We finally made it.
No, good to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
I'm very excited, man. We talked about this a long time ago, and honestly, when you were like, yes, I was like, well, that was pretty easy. That was exciting. And honestly, I know your quality, man. Like, one of the first encounters to your nerddom I got was this rundown of the Dune series and Frank Herbert stuff, and I was like, this man knows his shit. So today we're here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
And of course, today is unofficially sponsored by Drew and I's favorite drink of choice,
yes.
Moxie. This is your first diet Moxie, though, correct?
It is. So,
So
Drew,
let's go
you're
ahead.
not from Maine.
no, never.
So how did you, like, he's doing this because he's legally obligated to do this Maine type of stuff.
It's the best damn drink in the state.
The state pays him. They're like, you have to be obnoxious Mainer as often as possible. How do you, like, end up like, oh, I like it?
I was a bartender once.
Oh, okay, you're
pretty
right.
much Moxie is like carbonized in sugar Angostura bitters.
Okay, all right.
And that's
it's like, oh, that's interesting. Wow. I
I
never thought
mean
about it
that's
that
what
way.
it tastes like to me anyways.
I drank it. I was like, this tastes like sad tree bark.
Look,
Like, it's terrible.
I am hoping for a sponsorship from Moxie.
Drew, even though we're here today to talk about what would be considered a traditionally nerdy topic, you're not just a nerd in the traditional sense. You're a bit of a history guy, things like that. We know each other from our previous work in the park system there. What history, things are you into? What got you into history before we get into nerd stuff? What got you into, like, nerd stuff? Tell us your origin story.
So, yeah, really amateur historian. I do it for myself and nobody else. Got into history just from my father, who was into history, had all the books, the leather-bound books.
Rich mahogany.
We have several of them over there somewhere on the
man.
bookshelf.
Yeah,
Do you smell the mahogany?
I bet they smell wonderful. But yeah, pretty much just watching The Patriot as a kid, watching Last of the Mohegans, got into that, and then did my fair share of reenacting until I got tired of cleaning the musket.
Yeah.
There you go.
How'd you get into nerdy stuff then? Obviously, pop culture does a lot to deliver us to history, through movies like The Patriot or Gettysburg, things like that. And yes, we can talk about those movies all we want, but they all serve a purpose. They generate interest. So, what generated interest in sort of the things like space and fantasy and magic and all that? Because we're going to be talking a lot about that today.
So movies, really.
Yeah.
Movies and my dad. I almost brought it. I have his notebook from the late 70s.
Oh, wow.
When he was doing Dungeons and Dragons campaigns in New York.
Oh, so
Nice.
like OG stuff.
Like OG stuff, some of his scenarios, some of his mapping and stuff like that. I almost brought it, but I was like, no.
Do any of them weirdly foreshadow military operations? You're like, this feels a lot like Panama, but like 10 years before.
No.
You find out that's how the military plans.
It more shadows like, this is Pocahontas, but elves.
Dude, are you wearing a Slimer hat?
I am.
I
Yeah.
love your hat.
I was thinking that. That's great.
It's wonderful.
Can you show the camera that hat right there? That hat is fresh, dude. That is is that a 5950 or is it a snapback?
What we need.
Oh, it's a little snappy. All right, cool.
Well, forget the Diet Moxie. What we should have is that what is that? The Slimer, the High C, whatever it was that had the ecto cooler.
Ecto coolers.
This summer, coming to a supermarket near you. There's going to be a great new high C flavor with an outrageous fruit taste. And what are we going to call it? Ecto Cooler. High C Ecto Cooler. Slimer's new fruit drink. You've been warned.
You took us back to the 90s, man.
Yeah,
God,
OG
what a time.
ecto cooler.
We're gonna talk about the 90s.
I'm excited to talk about the 90s. I'm excited to talk about all this. So, same question I ask all of our guests, where do you start? Obviously, the beginning, but what is the beginning? Is it a single focused point? Is it kind of accumulation of a bunch of things in the atmosphere coming together? How does the story of the history of Dungeons and Dragons, begin, Drew?
So you want to go back to the very beginnings. You're in the 1800s playing a game called War Games, and it's pretty much what it sounds like, a game of war.
Hell yeah.
If you've ever seen any kind of period war show or movie, you're going to see, we're going to place this regiment here and move that there. And it's like people took that and decided, okay, well, let's make a game out of it. It doesn't have to be real. So they honestly really loved past encounters, battles, and stuff like that.
Okay.
For lack of a better phrase, and they would go ahead and they would play them, like say Custer's Last Stand, and stuff like that. So, guy named Gary Gygax, huge geek, loved war games and stuff like that. And
Gary Gygax.
Gary Gygax.
Has an X in his name?
It does.
That is so fitting.
Yeah.
Like, who has X's in their name? Cool people.
Yeah, he decided he wanted to kind of make his own spin-off of war games, and was like, I like the real stuff, but at the same time, why not throw some barbarians and elves in?
What year is this era occurring?
This is in the late 60s, early
All right,
70s.
because the reason I asked that is because one of the things that people don't realize a lot about the mid to late 19th century, especially since you said this kind of starts as a war game thing back in the 1800s. That's just an era where people are kind of fascinated by the occult, paranormal things. Mediums are very popular. Memento mori, like postmortem photography. So there's this big obsession with death.
Yep.
And sort of the like paranormal is a good word, like the paranormal things to everyday life. So I didn't know if like maybe that's where the magic roots are, but it seems like it's much later. We're already into the summer of love. No.
Yeah, I mean
We're
get
close.
So,
Are the Beatles a band?
the Beatles are a band, yes.
Okay.
But we can go back even further. To be honest with you, we're talking about Lord of the Rings. We're talking about J.R.R. Tolkien.
Hell yeah.
Huge into what people wanted. I'm forgetting his name right now, but Conan the Barbarian, and stuff like that. So you got sword and sorcery, and then you've got high fantasy. That's what that is. Conan the Barbarian, sword and sorcery. Tolkien and his works, high fantasy. And so at the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons in the late 60s, you're talking about sword and sorcery. I've got this muscly man because I am nothing close to it. And what I want to do is I want to go with my friend who really likes math and wants to like juggle fireballs, and I want to kick a door open. I want to slice something up. I want to get the maiden. I want to get the gold, and I want to drink.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And that's the beginning. That's
should be president.
That is just, yeah.
I mean, you should be. That's a platform to run on. So when you mentioned Lord of the Rings, I'm glad you did that, because my immediate imagery in my brain when somebody says Dungeons and Dragons is like a combat version of Lord of the Rings. Like I imagine hobbits, and I imagine Bree, and I imagine like clandestine stuff. Strider sitting there in the corner, dark, but he's like, instead of just watching and saving them, he's like, I have a quest for you. You need to retrieve the ball sack of whatever.
Right.
But it's like, that's the immediate like image I get. It's like very much Tolkien-esque.
And that's how it was played. Like that's how you play D&D is usually you start in a tavern, something like that.
Hell yeah. So just like the Marine Corps. They got started in a tavern too, and the rest was history, right?
I mean, and every mission that they go on, every single expedition is like...
They're like, roll 20s, guys, roll 20s. And then they
got to go to a tavern.
And then...
Get your quest.
Yeah.
And that's how...
that's
how the Gulf War started.
I don't know if people realize that these guys in the back with the 50
One or two?
Both?
Both.
They're chirping off rounds out of their 50 calibers, and they're like, that was a 20. A 20's a good roll, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, I know that from past discussions, but that's about all I know. So, but they're like, 20s for days. That's what the Marines say.
Man.
That's their motto.
Little rabbit hole. There's a natural 20, and there's a dirty 20.
Okay. Do you want to spoil it now, or can we get to the dirty 20 in a little bit? What do you want to do? Do you want to get dirty right away?
Well, it's a little one. So
okay.
Natural 20 is you just roll the 20.
Right, okay.
Dirty 20 is you roll like an 18 in your stats that you have in your character.
Oh, pop you up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's real nice.
People opposition to you, they're like,
they're like, well, it's usually the dungeon master is like, damn it, I made, like, this took me 4 hours to fucking write, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and you just completely destroyed.
just wrecked.
Great.
Just
Great.
wrecked it.
Okay, well, hope you enjoyed that.
As somebody who's obviously been a dungeon master before, you have, yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
currently.
so that is, you're speaking from experience of how wonderful that feels when that happens.
Yeah.
And as a person who was trapped in Pat's basement in his dungeon for a number of years, he was you are a dungeon manager, a dungeon master of sorts.
Yeah, but let's be very clear. This was you were an actual prisoner.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like
Well, I mean, the fact that you're not wearing the gimp suit,
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed.
That is what was advertised on the show.
that's
right?
a different dungeon. You need a password for that dungeon.
Yeah, that's behind this wall.
Yeah. Zed's back there.
Yes. Yeah.
He's dead.
Yes. Yeah.
All
At
right.
least he will be.
All right, so
Very soon.
we'll come back to Dirty 20s because we'll get to the game and its rules in a minute here. But so we've got a very clear visual sort of roots for the playing, right? We've got this, what do you call it, high fantasy and sword and sorcery kind of
Melding together.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
But
you don't have much of what's going on modern. It's really, okay, I pick up my sword and I slash. Okay, roll for that. And it actually didn't start with dice. It actually started with poker chips. Numbered poker chips in a bag.
All right, so what is the basic point of a Dungeons and Dragons quest? Were they always called quests? Missions? Is it a game?
Yeah, it's Dungeons and Dragons is a game. It's not always called missions, not always called quests. Back at the very beginning, that's what you did, is you would be in a village or something like that, and the villagers always need help with something. One of my favorite things is like with Elder Scrolls, very heavily based off of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Almost every single time you're going into a dungeon and you are beating the crap out of rats.
In Skyrim, you literally are the Dragonborn, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't played that game, I guess, in like the 2 years it's been out.
There's a word. It's called Dovahkiin.
Dovahkiin, yep.
Put some respect on it.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so
I apologize.
So they are not always missions or quests. They can kind of be, I guess, whatever you want.
Okay, yeah. Think in terms of Skyrim. You're dropped in the middle of this thing. Right. You're told what you are.
Well, you wake up and you're chained and you're in a wagon.
Stop. We're not doing the beheading part, but okay.
But as opposed to Skyrim, you built your character. You wrote their background. You everything that you want from this character, you made. But you start at level 1, and so you pick like Aragorn. Okay, I want to play a ranger. Okay, what's a ranger good at? He's good at sneaking, he's good at tracking, he's good at probably bows and stuff like that. And you build your character, and you, based off of the Dungeons and Dragons rules, you get you get a fulfilling play out of it.
All right. So imagine it's a rainy night. Me and the lads, we want to go, search a cave for treasure, but we live in New York City. There are no caves with treasure. This would be a way to go do that. I could say, come over, fellas, bring your dice.
I've got a story that I think we should tell together.
Yeah, and then you'll blow into a seashell horn, and then they assemble?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, usually what you would do is you would make up the scenario yourself as a dungeon master.
All right.
Or there are pre-made ones.
Okay.
There's tons of them.
Did Gary Gygax write these ones, like these pre-made ones? Like, what's his significance other than I think this should be a game?
So he he thought it should be a game. Got together with a guy named David. I have to look at my notes here because this guy is not important. David Arneson, and put a game together that they both liked. Gary had the chip idea, which later with Dave turned into dice and stuff like that. And what he was putting out was a very tiny, thin, almost magazine-like book with rules and stuff.
So rules like you can't double fireball me.
Yeah, rules like there's turn of action. Rules like wizards are high in wisdom, low in intelligence kind of stuff. Like just structure for what you're going to be doing.
High in wisdom and low in intelligence. Yep. That's kind of awesome.
So, yeah.
Not like I think it's an awesome thing, but like the phrase.
Yeah. I mean, book smart
yeah,
and street smarts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you see, you're playing a wizard, and okay, I'm walking down the road, and I'm like just looking through my books and stuff like that, and I bump into somebody, and I don't stop, you know? I don't take a minute and say, excuse me.
And then that ranger is like, sir.
It's on.
Mind yourself. Do they all talk like that?
No.
Okay. That's how my character is going to talk.
Perfect.
Yeah. Because I can make my character whatever I want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's a will, there's a way. You wanted to play a half man, half horse.
Oh, no. So my character for when we do later stuff is going to be a throwback to the OG host of the show when we were actually guests on Addressing Gettysburg podcast, where we were talking about some of our off microphone lives. You know, what do we do when we're not podcasting a history nerd? And Matt Borders talked about his time as a Dungeons and Dragons fan and player and DM and all that stuff. And Matt Callery had no idea, because Matt Callery obviously very hip to Dungeons and Dragons, but Matt was kind of explaining it to him. So Matt Callery, he gets credit for the inception of People Door, which is a centaur that rides a chariot. Yeah, so I guess, yeah. But it's pulled by other centaurs.
Not horses.
No.
Other centaurs.
Yeah. And I think he shoots a flaming bow and arrow.
Nice.
Modern day phrase is boss bitch.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to flesh out People Door when we actually get to character building, because I can't just say he's that, plus he shoots flaming arrows, right?
You could.
Yeah, but what kind of stink water am I going to be in if it's like an intelligence situation and I haven't remarked that he's a genius or he's a centaur who has his own people pull him.
Well, that's the cool thing is you might fail. You might fail and you might die. Like,
I don't want that. I want to make it to the end of the quest mission, not mission, treasure expedition, adventure, whatever they're called.
And you might.
All right,
But you might not.
All right, so basically, he's saying, here's how the rules work. You know, when you go around the table, we're moving to dice. We're moving away from chips.
Yeah, moving away from chips, and he starts a convention with little to no like stuff out there.
Does this just start with like him and his friends?
Yeah.
Like, because how does this become what it is? Like, it starts in your mom's basement, right?
Right.
Like
And
literally.
It starts in a hotel.
Oh.
Horticultural Hall in Lake Geneva. The very first Gen Con, which still goes on today, where 20 people showed up. Now, tens of thousands of people show up to this convention.
Is Gary Gygax still alive?
Gary Gygax died in 2008.
Oh, did he ever? So did he see it become this huge thing?
He did.
Was he like, hell yeah?
80s and 90s, he didn't really like the way it was going. So 20 people show up. And then the next year, that was in 68, where he charged $1 for administration or admission fees. 1969 is when Dave Arneson came on the scene.
All right.
They got together and created Dungeons and Dragons together.
Really quickly, is there official rules like can you not use chips now anymore, or is it like if you just show up like with some OG chips that you had from like?
I mean, they were never like.
They were never
produced.
mass produced, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, they were poker chips, which they numbered.
Okay.
All right. So was this a
Okay.
game that was just always played with like a clipboard and a pad of paper, or was this like physical pawns on a board?
So at the beginning, it was theater of the mind.
Okay.
And then miniatures came in a little bit later, just because it was like some people are good with creativity. Some people aren't. When you get a bunch of nerds who are also a part of math club, they're not. They can be. I don't want to generalize, but
No, you generalize those nerds.
they are famously
Just kidding.
they are famously not English majors.
Sure.
That's the best way I can put that. So they're not verbose and talking about, okay, as you go down the hallway.
Well, yeah, analytic
there's a-
people tend to be more, this is what the number and data say, versus like you said, the English major is steeped in the space. You fill the space
Yeah.
with stuff.
Right.
That reminds me of one of my favorite Robot Chicken clips, the werewolf sketch.
What?
Oh, remind me.
Ha ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
So it starts. There's a werewolf. He's like out in the woods. Somebody comes along and then just shoots him. And he says, "Nope." Says it's got to be a silver bullet. The guy from behind his back pulls out a Gatling gun. When I'm just going to knock the microphone over, and pulls out a Gatling gun, blows him into a pile of goo, right? Shovels the goo up into a bucket.
Where are we going?
Pours the bucket into like burns the bucket up into ashes. He then, I don't know. I mean, he snorts
We're in
this
it, man.
powder.
Where are we in the?
He then it goes through. It ends up going through a sewage treatment plant, and you see it being burnt up.
Dear, what are we talking
And then it
about?
flashes back to a group of kids
The
around
book
the
says
Dungeons
he's
and Dragons
still
game
not
going,
dead.
"No,
It has to
it
be
says
a
it has to
silver
be a
bullet."
silver
That's a bunch
bullet."
of crap.
You surprise me, man. You are older than I am. You are not a partaker of the devil's lettuce or
Correct.
anything illicit like that. And yet, dude, South Park, Robot Chicken, like
Robot
all these,
Chicken
like,
is-
who are you?
Robot-
What are you watching?
Robot Chicken in South Park, apparently.
Anyway, so does it live in this like local world? But 20 people show up, so it's obviously hey, my friend does this. It's spreading by word of mouth, right? It's not like
yeah, I mean, he's playing with people. He's bringing it to who would be playing war games. Like he's bringing it to those people.
he's like, hey, instead of doing the Battle of the Bulge, do you want to do the Battle of Schmerhen's where the fairies and the gnomes took out the whatevers?
Right.
All right. What did they take out? The chickens, the robot chickens.
Yes.
So when does, and this is all happening in the late 60s, early
Late
70s?
60s, early 70s. Yep.
Man, well, there's a lot going on in our world at that time. How do we have time? Oh, this is probably good because it's a form of escapism.
Yeah, I mean, that was the beginning of the modern age of our recreation as we know it today.
Because Vietnam is happening, and a lot of people are just looking to get away into other things.
And we have been rolling that ball down the hill ever since.
Yeah.
You will see, like, much like the early 1900s, where you had black and white film come out.
What do you mean World War I? Watch
Yeah.
these funnies.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the money. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God. Oh, we're not in the Depression. We're in the money.
We're in
Okay,
the money.
Great. Much like that time period, now, like, we've just got a 50-year-old ball that's just
Out of control.
out
at this
of
point.
control. How many Marvel movies do we need?
Honestly, after the first one, I personally felt we were good. I was
Yeah.
like, quota hit,
Yeah,
and then they were like, "What? Here's 9 more."
9?
I don't know. I don't.
Like 50.
I'm not in the. I don't watch those types of films, so I don't know. It was
Yeah.
too many of that, and Fast and the Furious, too many,
It got too fast,
and way too furious.
way too furious.
Especially after the guy died. What are we doing? So
many
what I'm really
rabbit
trying to
holes.
do is figure out how this goes from like a very personal friends group community to like maybe a regional thing. Like how quickly does it spread beyond this community of people that directly know Gary Gygax?
It takes years. I mean, figure AV Club, right? None of us were in AV Club. I don't think it existed when we were in school.
That's
right?
bold of you to assume I wasn't in an AV club.
I don't think you were.
I wasn't, but bold of you to assume it, sir.
As we stand in front of a soundboard and microphones.
I did take TV production as a class,
Right,
so it's kind of in line with AV club. But
right. But I mean, then if you're watching Stranger Things, I mean, your
Yeah.
ham radios and stuff like that.
We're the living AV club right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, how did that happen? It was nerd clubs before there were
Sure.
nerd clubs.
Right. Sure.
So Dungeons and Dragons is coming up the same way.
All right. So is it the 80s when it becomes I don't know what I'm asking. Is it how national, global,
Oh man,
universal? Do aliens play Dungeons and Dragons?
global. I want to say is a lot more recent. Japan just got their first translated book like 3
Interesting.
years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
That explains a lot.
There's a really dope advertisement where friends are sitting around a table and then you see them as their characters. It's really
They're like, we're gonna play a game where there's this giant dragon dinosaur.
Can my character be Godzilla?
They're like, you can technically, I
I
guess.
mean,
Ye-
but he's just,
In-
it's just
in-
his name. He's really
in-
just an accountant.
in my campaign, yes.
Okay,
In
okay.
another Dungeon Masters campaign,
No. Okay.
maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, some people are real serious with it,
Yeah, and I mean that's just what kind of campaign do you want to play?
but like uncomfortably serious. Like,
rule Nazis.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what? In a game that's made up from your mind and fantasy to limit those aspects of the game seems
It
kind
seems
of
counterproductive.
yeah.
Gatekeeping
Yeah.
to a point. See Simpsons, see comic
Yeah.
book nerd guy.
Right.
Pretty much. Well, technically, basically, it's like, well, no, like,
Every prog
Don't-
rock fan.
don't yuck anybody else's yum.
It's kind of like
If
whose
you
line
wanna
is it
s-
anyway,
If
right?
you want
Like,
to spend your time doing this,
yeah.
what right do you have to say I'm doing it wrong?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
so if it's your game
yeah.
and I'm taking part in it, right? I am accepting that those are your rules and that's how you're playing your game, right? I can always find another game
Yeah.
and fit it to the way that I want to play. Like if I want to be, if I want to be a part of a campaign that's a group of murder hobos,
Hell yeah.
and we just go around killing things, then I'll find that campaign. But if I want the story, if I want like character growth and arcs and stuff like
Sure.
that, I can do that too.
So the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Kind of like the whose line is it anyway rule, right?
I mean,
Points
it's-
matter.
Okay, points.
There's
I
one
guess,
thing I do
matter.
know in this game: the points do matter.
Okay.
Actually,
So I just made an entire swath of listeners angry.
the way that I run my campaigns are they don't get
There you go.
experience points.
Okay.
They gain levels based off of their characters' goals or like little benchmarks and stuff like that.
Huh.
So they get to a certain place that I know and I don't tell them. And it's like, okay, at this point, you guys as a group have learned enough that you all gain a level.
So I have, the reason I said the points definitely matters because you just explained the dirty 20 to us where like you can roll an 18
That's
and then the points,
the points there.
they matter, right? See,
That's right.
See, Parker, there's
Okay.
nuance to all of it.
All right.
Don't disrespect Whose Line Is It Anyway ever again.
I love Whose Line Is It
So
Anyway.
how long is this kind of an innocent, mundane, just kind of fantasy gameplay experience before it turns into insanity? Is Gary Gygax at the helm of all of it into the insanity? Sort of how take us into the explosion of the popularity of this game and the controversy and things like that. Just sort of move us into that.
So the popularity is going to come, like everything, through media, and it is part of the insanity. That's where it gets like really blown out of proportion. People don't know what it is, so people speculate what it is.
So this starts in the 70s?
That starts in late 80s, early 90s. Gary
Okay.
Gygax at this point has gone ahead and sold off his shares. He got out pretty quickly because you have Dungeons and Dragons, and then you have AD&D, which is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So D&D was your basic rules. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons at that point is just a whole thick book that you were going to have to, your dungeon master was going to have to know.
Okay.
He was going to have to do the calculations and all of that stuff. Thankfully today we've backed away from that. The mathematics are very nil. And we have internet to do math and build our characters.
So you would have had to have been pretty good at math to do this game in the OG. Because like me, there's a reason I'm into history.
Right.
We're not the Math Things podcast.
I don't work for the NASA there, you know.
Same. I don't think with the original AD&D, I would have been able to run a campaign.
I don't even feel like I'd have been able to sit at the table.
Maybe they would have had you like be the lackey.
They were like,
he's
just-
the guy that carries
They're
everything.
like, just get out. Like, don't even be in the room. Don't make eye contact with any of us.
No, you're the meat shield.
Oh, I'm the meat shield.
Hey, yeah, dumbass, you go ahead.
You go
see
and
if there's a
meat
trap.
Yeah. Oh, what was that growling in the cave? Go check it out.
Yeah, every quest that they
Yeah.
go through, you just lost another body part.
But is that how those characters become, maybe I'm using the terminology wrong, tanks? People that can just absorb tremendous amounts of damage?
Because they didn't put their stats when they were building their character into wisdom or intelligence. They put it into strength.
You can't hurt me, bear.
So on my shirt, there's a bugbear.
You can't hurt me,
And my
bugbear.
favorite character is named, that I play, his name is Cheddar. Because he loves cheese.
Cheddar cheese.
Yeah, he loves cheese, and he's dumb, but he is like one of the cuddliest things if you're on his team.
But he loves cheese.
If you point, he gets paid in it. He doesn't care about anything except like if you pay him in cheese, gorgeous.
In a perfect world, I get that.
Right. I mean,
I'm a fan of cheese as well.
cheese should be money, I think.
I think so.
Because
Let's do that.
Limburger? Oh man, that's $100 bill right there.
Ditch your previous political platform. Let's run on this one.
Cheese.
Cheese is
Done.
money.
Should be money.
Literally, that's why they call it cheddar,
Right.
as the kids call it.
Yeah.
Do the kids call it that again?
Get that
Is that
cheddar.
one back again?
That's back
Yeah.
again.
Do you remember when
it
we
rhymes
said that?
better?
Okay. All right. So Gary Gygax said, "Peace out. I'm making millions.
No.
I made 38 cents."
He made some money. He made enough to be comfortable.
Okay. Are you protecting his finances? You just don't want to get into it.
I actually don't know.
That's
I know
okay.
he didn't make a lot of money out of it.
I just didn't. You could have been like, "Look, I can't violate, client
sold it.
confidentiality."
He sold it to a group called TSR, and TSR.
They suck
Or-
royalties.
Yeah,
Aggressive.
they suck royalties. TSR also Wizards of the Coast. But yeah, they are now a part of Hasbro.
All right.
wow.
First of all, Wizards of the Coast sounds like something you find in Ireland. Like, you don't want to be going down to the ocean on a foggy, hazy, rainy day because the Wizards of the Coast are coming down there to take you away.
Aye, the Banshees.
Yeah.
They're roaring again. Those wizards must be up to no good.
The wizards out there be putting a spell on you.
Is there any correlation between Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer?
Uh,
Are they?
Yeah, in the way that when you are in combat in Dungeons and Dragons, you're usually on a board and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's a bit of, but that's more in the category of wargaming.
But they're not related as far as like same company owns them, same writers, same developers, stuff like that. Or
Correct.
Okay.
Is TSR really the company that blasts this out there big time?
Yeah, it starts to based off of Satanic Panic, based off of the media getting a hold of it, based off of some sad stories that happened late 80s, early 90s.
Well, let's get into that because I think most people, the reason we're doing this episode, have a general awareness in Dungeons and Dragons and might not realize it's because of this era, not because of the Gary Gygax went to Lake Geneva and was like, I have this cool game I want to share with you.
Right.
It's more because this hysteria that got created, like you were saying, in the late 80s, early 90s. What is the Satanic Panic, Drew?
Okay, so late 70s, there's a kid, college student, James Dallas Egbert III, writes a bunch of suicide notes and goes and takes a bunch of Quaaludes and goes into the tunnels of New York and pretty much goes there to get hit by a train. He's trying to self-exit. And he was known to play Dungeons and Dragons. And
Was he
so
successful in his unaliving?
This time, no, he was not.
Okay.
He was seen at a convention a day or two later.
It's sad that you said this time.
Yeah, unfortunate.
All right.
Yeah, a day or two later, he was found at a convention where people were playing Dungeons and Dragons. He met his friends there and hung out with them, and it was his comfort place. And he went and traveled a bit away from home, worried his parents. Parents get a private eye to go track him down, and they brought him back home.
So they were like, how did they figure out that he was not in the train tunnels, looting his ass off?
He had come out.
Okay.
He had come out and then gone to the convention.
Okay.
He had been staying on friends' couches and stuff.
All right.
And then was like, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm just going to travel, work menial jobs and stuff. Guy was a genius, though. Like, he was into computer technology.
In his suicide notes, did he say Dungeons and Dragons made me do this?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. I think that's important to ask that.
No, yeah, that's a great question. Just so that we can state, no.
Right.
What happened is the media was like, well, we don't understand depression. We don't understand anxiety. This kid is smart, has everything going for him. Oh, he's playing Dungeons and Dragons. That must be it.
So they're covering
That's the
it.
thing.
They're covering it while it was a missing persons, and then he's recovered. Or are they covering this after he finally?
They're covering this as he's a missing person.
Okay.
That's what all the news articles are stating.
Essentially, basically, because Dungeons and Dragons at this time is played primarily by people who may be traditionally bullied, not jocks, not the popular kids in school. The media sees this very tragic guy playing this game, and because he's kind of in the minority of people who are playing it, it is this new game that is sweeping the nation, and we must all beware and never let it,
Are you familiar with this direct case?
I don't know all of the details, but I have heard of this. This is kind of a, wouldn't you say this is kind of the origin of
This is the beginning of
this is
Satanic
kind of this
Panic.
Yeah. And this kind of in the early late 70s, early 80s, this kind of takes off and it begins to evolve, doesn't it, Drew?
So
It begins to evolve into other aspects, not just
this couldn't have just been born directly out of this game. So I guess what I'm saying is, so there's no way that this is just because the only variable in this perfect life would be this game. My brain says that this starts somewhere a little earlier in time in a different place. What do you think?
A little bit of music.
Maybe it starts
a little
here.
bit of, yeah, because it wasn't just Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right. Rock and roll changed and got a lot darker. And by this time you're talking about, though, we're well into Black Sabbath. Judas Priest is out there. Judas Priest is going to end up on trial, part of the Satanic Panic.
100%.
Ozzy Osbourne's going to end up on physical trial as part of the Satanic Panic. So by the time this young man has gone missing, we're well into freak out mode.
Oh, yeah.
We got rock bands with upside down crucifixes. Literally, the band's name is Judas Priest, like, you know?
Well, and look at a lot of rock and roll's album covers in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Skeletons.
Upside down crosses, things like that.
God, I love heavy metal.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But take it even further back. Beatles, they were saying Satanic Panic. They were saying that if you played their records backwards, especially
Paul is a
Revolver,
dead man. Miss him, miss him, miss him.
Yep.
I buried Paul.
Turn me on.
Turn me on, dead man.
Yeah.
Turn me on, dead man.
Yeah.
Turn me on, dead man.
But they were saying,
Helter
yeah,
Skelter.
they were Helter Skelter.
Allegedly the first heavy metal song.
Yeah.
I have thoughts about it, but it is popularly accepted that that is the first heavy metal
There's
song.
one that might be, believe it or not, I heard the other day somebody's claiming that the Monkees, of all people, might have had a proto heavy metal song on their very first album, and I think it was the second track on there. I was not familiar
Nope,
with
we're
the
not
track.
doing that. We're going to move on
But-
from that. Here's
I know,
why.
I
Because
know.
one,
That's a different
I don't-
rabbit hole,
One, I don't
and-
believe it, and two, until you provide evidence.
I agree. I haven't heard it myself.
If they did it, it was completely on accident because
Yes.
the Monkees made so many songs that were so crap because they just took whatever they wanted, threw it on the wall, and be like, "This'll sell to the kiddos."
Yeah, it's true.
I
Parker's
mean,
a
you
big
have-
Monkees fan. You just crushed his
You
soul.
have-
I don't
no,
care.
no, I don't.
I
don't
like
care.
some of their songs.
Yeah.
Randy,
No,
Randy
don't-
Scatgit.
don't-
Oh,
Randy Scouts get, yeah. That,
Don't backpedal. Crush them.
n-
So the Monkees got us
But you-
worshiping
but-
Satan.
but
Is
you have
basically
Carole King, Neil Diamond,
All Satan
you have
worshipers.
Neil Sedaka, all writing songs for the Monkees.
Hail Satan.
So yeah, clearly Satanists. But which brings me kind of roundabout to the Satanic Panic of the especially early 80s as it evolved through the 80s. Basically everything became Satan.
yeah.
Oh, is this where Church Lady comes in?
It-
Dana
it
Carvey
kind of is a
blames
product of it.
everything on Satan.
It is a product of it. If
All right.
you, yeah.
I just
go
wanted to
ahead.
mention
Yeah.
the heavy metal part because, you know,
It-
as a-
it's part of
because
it.
It ties in because there's always a scapegoat.
Yeah.
There's always a scapegoat. So, like, cults, believe it or not, a lot of cults just blamed Satan for all of their stuff after the fact. They weren't really like,
No,
it-
man, it was the devil,
you
man.
take piece of shit, Charlie Manson,
Oh yeah.
and he told them
Who wrote
to
songs
write.
with the Beach Boys?
Yep. He told them to write satanic messages on the freaking walls
Yeah.
to make it look like it was Satan worshipers and stuff.
Yep.
Just to put people off and just sensationalize, but also detract from, oh, yeah, but it could have been those peace-loving hippies in the desert.
people are just spooked
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
Like people are just
People are
freaked out.
And it's just, at the end of the day, it is
So we're looking for a scapegoat.
individuals. It's individuals, and individuals are hard to prescribe medicine to.
Sure.
Groups of people, however,
You can just paint.
We can fix that.
You can just
Yeah.
paint them.
Yeah.
All right.
And they all of a sudden became undesirable.
So how quickly after this first account, this young man, this first association between this quote unquote, you know, off-putting behavior and Dungeons and Dragons, do we get a second account and then do we end up in the steamroll?
So then we got that happening with Mr. Egbert. Then we have a really wonderful movie if you watch it as a joke, Mazes and Monsters, with a very, very young Tom Hanks comes out. And this actually is written off of Egbert's ordeals and stuff. There's some scenes where Tom Hanks' character, who is a character who has some mental illness, he's wandering through tunnels in New York City. And
Just Quaalude tripping balls off himself.
yeah, he thinks he's his character, and is regressing more and more into that fantasy. He doesn't want to be in the reality.
What happens when you do Quaaludes? I've never done Quaaludes.
Ask Richard Carpenter. When the for the record, the thinking that you are your character,
Yeah.
that was hogwash, correct? He did not. The guy, Mr. Egbert, did
Oh
not.
no, yeah, no,
He
not
did
him.
not believe he was his character.
No, there are plenty of us that are jumping into escape reality.
Sure.
Some get obsessed, and some take it much too far.
Yeah.
Once again, though, that's an individual problem. Not
There are
a
people,
group.
honestly, though, in the historical reenactment world who I think we both know.
Dude, I mean, look, I pretend to be a podcast host.
Hey,
Right. Right.
I pretend to
Anybody?
escape reality.
Knock knock. Anybody listening out
This show is
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
broadcast nowhere.
Yes. Drew, those mics aren't plugged in. They're literally just plugged into the desk.
Yeah.
That's just
Son
it.
of
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to point that out that the thing that kind of just started this satanic panic that was, I'm just going to say it was exploited. This poor man's death was exploited. And a lot of what they were saying was bad reporting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just looking to blame somebody for something. We got a lot of crap going on at the
Well, he
end
didn't
of the
die in the
70s.
tunnels. When does he die? When does Mr. Egbert, does he
A couple
die?
days later, right?
At the convention?
No, a year later.
A year later, that's right.
He had come back. His parents had realized, okay, he's dealing with some stuff, and they tried to get him the help that he needed. Unfortunately, it was not enough at that time.
But there was no connection to Dungeons and Dragons in that moment.
no,
Take a look
he
at
self-exited with a gun.
Sure, but
Right.
I just meant more he's successful in his endeavor. And are
But
we
at no
talking
point.
about Dungeons and Dragons at that point?
No.
So just in this initial freak out a year prior. All right.
And look where we are in the late 70s as a country, because this is really kind of, the satanic panic was really kind of unique. Started, I would say, uniquely American, kind of. I
Yeah.
mean, on the scale that it became,
Well-
it would go global.
What we know today as American Christianity,
Yes.
because there is a difference.
There is yes, it was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
thing. There was another book. I guess I'll just talk about this briefly. There was another book that was popular at the time, late 70s. A guy by the name of Mike Warnke comes out with a book called The Satan Seller,
Mhm.
and he is a Christian comedian, and he had a very particular shtick that he would do. One of those was like, I don't dress up, I don't wear a suit because I'm hip, I'm counterculture, and I'm also a Christian, so listen to what I have to say. And he told stories about how he used to be a Satanist, and he was involved in all these things, and Dungeons and Dragons, it gets weaved into his story eventually, just kind of gets, the more time goes on, this Dungeons and Dragons thing begins to kind of interweave into his story.
So
And-
to use your main vernacular, hogwash.
Hogwash.
Yeah.
It's what ends up happening though is we find out, because I listened to this guy when I was a kid. He was a big part of my childhood, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he kind of he ripped a lot of people off. You come to find out he was at the same time he was in Vietnam. He was hanging out with Anton Xander LaVey. He was involved in all these sacrifices. He was talking to these people. He knew Manson or something. And the timelines, he would have had to have been, like, everything happened within like a 6-month period if you actually sit down and listen to his story. The thing about it is, and I'm going to jump out of this hole really quickly, but the thing about it is if you actually if you're just listening to it in the 70s and early 80s, you're going, wow, man, he's just talking about things that happened in the 60s. I remember that. Yeah. But then this little thing called research happens. And you find it very quickly that some of the people he's talking about are dead.
Dude.
After, and he's like in Nam at the same time, something's happening over here. And then somebody asks him and they said, hey, because they start doing a little bit of research on this guy, and they say, hey, tell us about this and that. And he goes, well, as an artist, I get to embellish some of my stories. And they're like, well, what part of your story did you embellish? And he goes, no comment. And then you find out, you start tearing it apart, like almost every word that he said was a lie. And he inadvertently was a huge part within that movement.
Yeah.
Like with American Christianity, he was a huge part within that movement of kind of sparking this. He was used as a tool in this thing, and he was making the money.
The way you described
So-
him at the beginning of that made me think about every youth pastor. They got the beat going, and they're like,
100%.
it's like, and it's the
They got
youth
the
pastor.
drummer in the aquarium.
Well, no, the youth pastor, he's got like a beat going, and he's like, the kids today are down with OPP, but are they down with the JC?
Right. He basically, you know what? Yes. the Satanic Panic and the people who kind of went along with it, they were using what was getting people's attention. And of course, parents, what do parents? Parents, we care about our kids. We don't want our kids doing something terrible. We want our kids to be protected, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, we've got these people, and there are some, I genuinely believe that there were some that were well-meaning. There was a book, like Lambs to the Slaughter, written by, I want to say, Joanna Michelson. Her book was used a lot by during the Satanic Panic, and we're talking about, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead here.
No,
but we're talking about things that, like, the Care Bears were satanic because they lived in the clouds and they were all knowing, and they projected love down and they could make it rain. And
instead of thinking that's God's love coming down on
they
people,
were thinking it was
Satan.
There was, I believe, there was something in there about Mario, as in like Super Mario Brothers. Like you shouldn't let your kids play Mario because the word Mario is a Japanese word for master. I don't think that's true. I don't know Japanese.
Meanwhile,
but I don't think
in the 80s are like, Master! Master!
Puppets, right? Yeah. But what I guess what I'm saying is, like, from Mario to the Care Bears, there was nothing off limits, let alone you have a game called Dungeons and Dragons.
But this didn't all just explode from Mr. Egbert.
Really
so Egbert, and then Mazes and Monsters comes out in 82. So the scene that they do this in might be a little triggering to some of the listeners. Every time I see the scene, it sucks. But Tom Hanks's character gets to the top of the South Tower of
World
Trade Center, and he's about to jump. It isn't until his friends show up and kind of say, well, your character now has to do this quest, that gets him to step off the ledge. That visual, though, is so powerful, as everything with the World Trade Center is
now, especiay.
We're seeing in hindsight.
Back then,
Wow, hindsight.
But, I mean, you had the walker, the tightrope walker, go between the towers of the World Trade Center. Yeah, during the Vietnam, not only as like, hey, I can do this, but as a protest to Vietnam. So he does that. This shot is right there, and it resonated with people. It was like, man, my kid is depressed. My kid is sad. I want to save Tom Hanks from stepping off that ledge. We have to get rid of Dungeons and Dragons. That's the only way. Not only does that movie come out, you spoke of some books I haven't even heard before, but 2 other books that fantasize the fantasy. That's called Cruel Death and Blood Money. They sold like hotcakes, and of course,
I've heard of Blood Money, I think.
We are talking about late 80s, early 90s, when made-for-TV movies are going.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
That's,
yeah.
Those 2 were made into movie, for TV movies. That spreads faster than anything you're going to see at the theater.
That's right.
Because that's in your home. So not only that, you've got the books, you've got the movies.
Yes.
Now you've got 60 Minutes rolls right in and makes bank.
Well, and
off of
that's
just
the thing.
one segment that they do.
Yeah, these made-for-TV movies, they were made by legitimate studios.
Right.
They had actual, like, real 80s money behind them.
Let's be real. Right? Let's be real about made-for-TV movies. They were incredible.
And 80s,
we were lucky to have them for the most part.
Sure. And the 80s, of course, were...
It was made for TV.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. And then Langoliers, sadly. Another Stephen King hit.
It's great.
From Maine.
it's great. It's just...
Well,
it's
Gettysburg,
back then.
Gettysburg, which inspired so many modern Civil War nerds, was a made-for-TV.
Yep.
What?
Gettysburg.
What's this movie?
Gettysburg.
Oh.
Yeah. The
Rats?
proper way to pronounce it.
You're fighting for your rats?
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
you have to know by now that it's Gettysburg. It's not named after James Geddes. It's named after James Geddes.
Oh, it's not. It's Geddes Images.
I'm just telling you.
Not Getty
if
Images.
you talk to the
Getty
people
instead of
from
Geddes.
the town,
I know,
our Gettysburg listenership has been very clear on how to pronounce it.
Okay.
And we're trying our best.
Well,
we're trying our damn best, Drew. You're not helping in this moment.
No.
However, you do have a rat
though,
to say it. You do have a rat to say it.
That is
however
my
you want.
rat.
His
It is your
rats.
rat. That is your right to
You
pronounce
don't
whatever you
infringe
want.
on my rights. I'll say it how I want.
That's right.
Staunton, Virginia.
And you know, next
I know it's Stanton.
next campaign that I do, Dungeons and Dragons campaign I do, it'll be the Kingdom of Gettys.
Yeah, you should go. Yeah, that's right.
This is going to be the most insane.
Everybody's
play
just
what
gonna
we do.
fight for their rats.
Maybe my character will be Joshua Chamberlain.
Bayonets.
And it's just going to be a guy who fixes bayonets and then goes back to me and says the entire thing was because of me.
But when you say
Well,
fix
no.
bayonets, here's
Fix.
going to be the turn.
Blacksmith.
You fix them. You repair them.
Yeah.
You don't actually affix them to weaponry. You're like, oh,
We did
geez,
it.
and Bub, looks
We
like your
fixed
bayonet's
bayonets.
broken. I'm going to
We've-
weld
No,
that for you.
even better. Let's take it even down a notch.
Okay.
Okay.
He forges them.
You are the town fool,
Okay.
homeless man.
Okay.
That they're like, he just sits there pounding a rock against a rock all day, saying he's fixing bayonets. We have no idea what a bayonet is.
Right. Yes. That's who you
Maybe
are.
but my character's special move, of course, will be a hinge maneuver. that just comes right around.
It's like-
and oration and rhetoric will be his power.
The townspeople, when you enter their shops or their taverns, they're
Yes.
like hinge maneuver and shut the door
yes,
in your
hinge
face.
maneuver. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I like it. That's it.
And this is Dungeons and Dragons. We're, as a group, telling a story, just having a freaking
that's-
great time.
All right.
And that's it.
How does that get lost in all of this panic and insanity that's starting and beginning to pervade? Like, this was a game meant for community, meant for joy, meant for storytelling. Is it, I mean, like all things, right? Like music is a great example. There's so many different styles of music. You can have incredibly soft and sweet. You can have soulful. You can have violent. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to two types of heavy metal. The stuff my parents thought was evil and the stuff that actually was evil.
Right.
Because some heavy metal is what you think it is. It's terrifying.
Sure.
So there's a spectrum there. So just like, you know, with literature, with film, with anything, there's a spectrum. So how do we ignore this part of the spectrum where it's like this actually started in a good place, was meant to be a good thing. And if you were finding examples of like insane D&D things, like those are individual
Problems.
like, oh yeah, like, you know, like Parker's group is like, my dungeon is full of sex bats. You know, and
Why is my dungeon full of sex?
I don't know. You were just the first person I looked at.
I don't know. Why don't you
Yeah,
tell us,
why don't you tell us, Parker?
All right.
Why?
Well, it started a couple years
And
ago.
when I say sex bats, I mean
was
Louisville
walking-
sluggers.
Oh, that's
God, it's gotten dark.
that, that's-
Moving on out of respect.
Wow.
But like,
How dare you bring my sex bats into this, Pat?
I'm asking Drew because I understand in a real world sense how easy it is to focus on these negatives. But was it really this easy to ignore the positive parts of community, like the roots, the genesis of this? Or was it just like, forget all that?
Absolutely.
This game is full of demonic shit.
I can't speak for the times. What I can say is research I've done and just being around it for so long. People don't like change. People will say new is better, but most of the time that comes with the negatives of people pushing back against it. And that's what happened here. It was the new scapegoat right before video games, right before rap. Right
before heavy
before
metal again.
internet.
You've got it right.
Before,
You've got it right.
There is always a thing. Those silly Dapper Dans are down there dancing. You see that foxtrot? Ugh.
Yeah. So my
So-
first introduction to this concept was in the aftermath of the shooting at Columbine High School, when Eminem and Marilyn Manson were basically put on public trial, right?
Right.
Not literal trials, but like,
D. Snyder too, right?
Like,
but yeah, I mean the
Dee
PMRC
Snider.
stuff. Oh, Tipper Gore.
They were
Yeah.
both on. Was it Jesse Jones or
Sarah
Sally,
Jessica-
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah.
God,
So
the
they were
talk
on.
show era.
They were on those shows. They weren't even given. So the media was like, "That's too low hanging fruit." The talk shows were like, "Nah, we got this."
Well, because the talk shows were just not about doing anything other than just garnering ratings. Because listen, man, they've taken quite a few people in the ufology world and just turned them into mockeries. And listen, the ufology world doesn't need help turning itself into a mockery. But when the Ricky Lakes of the world and the Oprah Winfreys, you know, were kind of delegitimizing legitimate people. So I could see
Right.
this exact same thing playing out with the D&D community, because I imagine it's not just the news says this is bad or Parker the church says this is bad. I imagine there's people being like, no, this is good. There's people defending it.
There is, and if you don't mind, I've got two
Yes.
more
Oh, please,
just
yeah.
short stories before
Yeah.
we start to go downhill into.
Let's do it.
Okay, so 60 Minutes comes out with their segment. Gygax, who had sold off most of his shares, he is quoted as saying, "Who is bankrupted by losing a game of Monopoly? Nobody is, because the money is make-believe, the property is make-believe, and the bankruptcy is make-believe. Like, none of it's real.
Right.
Like, nobody makes somebody a Satanist by pretending to be Conan the Barbarian."
But here's why the only thing I disagree with in that, because fundamentally I agree with that entire statement. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Except, as we see in real life, contemporarily and around us, Monopoly is real. Monopoly is absolutely real.
Right. Well, maybe Monopoly's a bad
No, but like
equator,
I understand like the concept makes perfect sense. And it was a great analogy because at that time we were less plugged into how insanely dominated we are by corporate life.
They're supposed to be illegal, these monopolies, but I tell you what, the oil tycoons are out there now.
The concept is that, well, it depends upon who you talk
You got a problem with the watchdog? Get rid of the watchdog.
Right.
Who watches the Watchmen?
I know, exactly. That's a Star Trek. Who Watches the Watchers is a Star Trek episode.
It's a
good,
great one.
Good one. Yeah. The concept was, again, depending upon who you talk to, that this was the doorway with which millions of children were walking through into Satanism, outright legitimate Satanism. And that was because they did the cardinal sin of using their brains.
So,
And they just imagined something, and because they had an imagination, Satan. It's just like
Tommy,
step one.
Tommy,
Yeah.
are you playing Dungeons and Dragons? He's like, no, Ma, I was just smoking pot. They're like, thank God.
Yeah, well, see, that's
That
the thing.
actually is there's a murder that occurs where the children were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and some people went into the parents' room late at night and beat the parents, killed the father. Mother was beaten real badly, and it ended up being one of their sons was the dungeon master, and it had some of the people playing the game with them had done the crime.
Yeah, but they're not because they were smoking pot.
I mean, not because of, no.
It was all
I just want to say, were people more concerned about their children in this gateway to Satanism than they were to the gateway to drugs?
It wasn't an either or. It was this is all of one card.
Oh,
This
you're
is-
going to be smoking doobies while you play
it's the same. It's
D&D
listening-
with the devil.
listening to metal music.
Black Sabbath in the background.
How dare you get that epic picture of a wizard on the side of your van?
Do you know how many
piece of
many of my
that's-
friends heard
yeah.
that description of D&D, heavy metal, smoking weed, and they were like, that sounds like an awesome time, dude. Like so
Yeah.
many of my friends.
The only thing missing is starting a band.
Yeah,
Right. That is
yeah.
the only
That's
thing.
how bands get started.
Right.
You roll a 20 and you're like, you can shred too? Dude, this guy can roll a 20 and he can shred. You want to join a band? You want to jam sometime?
Right.
That's how it happens.
That's so they were right.
They were right. So
Sorry.
All right,
the
yeah,
moral
continuing
story
on.
is, yeah.
All right, so continuing on.
Yeah, so I mean that's happening too. So this would all lead to the creation of BADD, which
I knew it had two D's.
of course it did because it's like mad.
Yeah, and sad. They all
Uh,
noble organizations, by the way.
this was done by started by a woman named Patricia. I'm not even going to put her last name because she's not,
Don't dignify her.
she's not worthy.
I'm
Don't
gonna look her up
dignify
because
her.
I want to remind myself of her last
Don't
name. Just a minute.
dignify her.
You go right ahead and have all the fun in the world. Speaking of pieces of she liked the attention that this garnered her.
Okay.
So media's doing its thing that it does. And then she jumps in on the bandwagon
Okay.
of like, this is terrible and this is why this is bad. And so she starts bad, which is just the latest little
What does it stand for?
It says bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. Bothered.
Bothered about?
Like Eeyore's favorite word. Oh, bother.
No, yeah, no, I get it, but like usually it's like mothers against, and so
Yeah.
I was expecting something like baddies against drunk
like,
driving or baddies against Dungeons and Dragons.
Let's stab anybody who likes Dungeons and Dragons. No, I'm just, you know what? I'm just a little bothered. Just a little bothered by
I'm bothered,
imagination.
but like, how bothered?
So
If they're not, if they're not thinking about God, they're thinking about
The devil.
pulling their pud.
The devil.
Well, here's the thing, though. So, how true is this? I don't know. This is just a Google search. It says that her son deleted himself in 1982, and she said that she believed that his unaliving himself was contributed to the game.
And yeah, that's what she had said.
So what was? Do we know? Like what?
So Parker, run this down. Just read all those bullet points
Okay.
real fast. Don't say her name though.
All right. So, how did she form bad? Sorry.
Read this. Just read
It
that
said
whole thing.
formed bad after her son Irving, an active D&D player, died by suicide in 1982. She believed his suicide was related to the game. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her son's high school principal and the game's publisher at this time, which was TSR. Okay, and then just keep going.
Yeah, just run through.
The case against TSR was dismissed in 1984, and reporters disapproved most of her claims. BAD, B-A-D-D, excuse me, effectively ceased to exist after she died of cancer in 1997, and then
People were not that bothered anymore.
yeah,
So she was, I mean, grieving mother. I will give her that.
For sure.
yeah,
But we all have people that we've lost.
Yeah.
In natural ways and unnatural ways. What most of us don't do is take up a mantle
Yeah.
that ostracizes people, causes officers to bust down doors,
Oh, yeah.
and make imagination something that people should be bullied about for decades.
Right.
Right.
Because not only does this create, okay, they're doing something satanic, it puts them as the other. They are not the jock. They're not the artist now, and they're not even nerds in their own right.
Right.
Now they're the other, which I think, not that I enjoyed the later seasons of Stranger Things so much,
Right.
but I think they did a really good job of
With the Hellfire
showing
Club.
with
Yeah.
the Hellfire Club, of showing that.
This also reminds me a little bit, I mean, just to kind of relate this to a movie, to an 80s film, I guess we'll do it, Footloose, right? The preachers.
Yeah, don't dance.
Yeah.
My
kid
children
died.
My kid died driving home from prom.
So therefore, dancing
don't
is
dance.
Satan. Yeah. There's well, I mean, it's kind of like one of those.
But
That's the mentality.
I know.
It's
So
that's the
dumb.
mentality. Essentially, it's one of those really kind of funny memes. Like step one, step one, Dungeons and Dragons. Step two, nothing. Step three, Satan.
Yeah.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's
How dare you bring in the underpants gnomes? All right, so keep going.
yes,
Let's
yeah.
get because I want to go into the madness. I want to get into
Yeah.
it, Drew. You said in a few minutes here we're gonna go into it.
And I mean, here we go.
Let's go.
So
Air brakes off.
all right.
she, Patricia, just runs the gambit of taking something bad that happened and making it worse.
Yeah.
And so she starts bad, and they've got little pamphlets, and they're raging against pretty much nerds that can't really stick up for themselves.
So are they protesting at like college campuses? Are
Yeah,
they-
I mean, like with the video games
Okay.
and that stuff. They're not so much college campuses, but like their own neighborhoods of like, hey, keep it out of, if your kid's doing this, then your kid's a bad egg kind of thing. So not only are they getting bullied at school, now they're getting
Bullied at
ostracized and bullied from their own family members, which is just like a nerd life. I was lucky enough, and I think you can probably say as well, you being the senior to my junior,
You just call me old motherfucker.
I called you a year
I
older.
love it.
Okay.
Keep it up.
I was like, we're basically the same age.
Right. When Pat was a senior, I was a junior.
Okay.
And-
literal. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought you just were like playfully being like, you
I
old
was
ass
so
son of a
excited,
bitch.
man.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here getting the old kicked out of me for all these years.
Like, we were on the tail end of being forced into these groups of those are the nerds. They're playing Magic the Gathering. Like, just, they're not a part of the cool kids. All of a sudden, I'm telling you, early 2000s happened, and you're starting to get the internet video capabilities just off the hook. Even before YouTube was hitting, we had Newgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And E-Bombs World and all of these things.
Yeah, social blending happened a lot
and it
more
was
pervasively.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I'm graduating in 2006, and it's still like, okay, well, nobody knows my music. Nobody knows the games I'm playing. And then all of a sudden, you've got video games coming out that everybody wants. It's not just Madden anymore. It's really cool Elder Scrolls stuff. It's, okay, wow, there's a ton of people who played Ocarina of Time.
Right.
Oh, and so the internet just opened that up amongst a myriad of other Pandora box items.
Well, and I think that's a great thing you're talking about, because this era, in a lot of ways, made people put a lot of the things they liked into boxes and into hide them away. I didn't grow up playing Dungeons and Dragons, but you want to talk about ostracization? Like, I'm a metalhead, and I was a metalhead in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and so I grew up listening to bands like Pantera and Metallica and Megadeth.
You were automatically a bad kid then.
Yeah, and like literally was.
Like,
and sometimes in my own house was treated that way.
And it's like, I just really like this music, guys. I really like the message that they spoke about right here, or something like that, like, or the chugga chugga.
Yeah, for me, like, and that was one of the craziest things was like, just like having to realize that you can separate parts of things, and like, even in the non-controversial heavy metal, like Metallica, right?
Yeah.
I love Metallica, but very rarely do I listen to Metallica because James Hetfield is a fantastic lyricist. I mean, he's written some incredible lyrics, some incredible songs top to bottom, but overall, like, they got two great guitars and a drive, especially when their sound went from thrash to a more rock sound, like they developed this big sound. And, Pantera, say what you want about them, but they had the greatest living guitar player of the heavy metal era. Like, sorry, Eddie, sorry, anybody else, Dimebag Darrell was the shit. And I wasn't listening to them because of what Phil was singing about and what James, it was just like, these guys are shredding.
Well, no, in one of your earlier episodes of this very podcast, you had talked about metal, and you had talked about your love of history actually coming from...
So it was, it's not Run of the Hills, it's the Trooper. It's Trooper, yeah. So I understand this concept because, whether it was... my limited time in a church community growing up, or even in my own family, just automatically being like, the Hex, right? He likes heavy metal. Just getting to high school, right? The heavy metal kids all were in one part of the hallway.
Yep. One part of the hallway, or one part in the cafeteria. And then I don't know if you saw it, but I saw some freshmen coming up that it was like, there was anime club. And there was all this like things that were like, okay.
What you're talking about is it's very important, because this wasn't, this happened over a relatively few year period of time. My time in high school and your overtime overlap at least half of our high school careers together.
Right.
And there was a very different world, because I could see that stuff forming, but none of it had materialized in my high school yet. But you could see these social tolerances and social blendings of people in places you wouldn't expect. Like,
it's letting it breathe a little bit.
You also listen to this or play that.
Anything can be looked at as something evil if you look at it with that in your mind. And if anything, and a lot of people, they just tend, when they see something they don't understand, their immediate thought is, I don't understand it, evil.
And here, literally her words, what she wrote down in the bad manual is Patricia describing what D&D is. It's a fantasy role-playing game which uses demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, satanic type rituals, gambling, barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and other teachings.
And if you're playing that game, that's a problem. I was gonna say, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's weird. Like, if that's your game you're playing, I mean, that's.
I was gonna say she's right.
I mean, okay.
No, I mean, she's not 100% wrong.
Okay.
She's wrong in the context of all of this stuff is in a fantasy world where Christianity doesn't exist. So you're not going against God by like doing any of these things. Now, will I be in a campaign that has the R word in it? No, absolutely not.
I was going to say the people who I know who play it, they don't play games like that. They're like, it's very mundane. It's like
there are some dungeon masters that want to go real hard,
sure,
and just make it close to life, reality, fantasy as possible. And there are horror stories out there.
Yeah.
But then again, that's an individual, not the whole thing.
Right. Again, like my analogy with the car, right? Like you're going to have a crazy person with a car who does something evil with a car.
And so, like, real fast, there's this guy who does YouTube videos of, like, these are the worst, like, games I've ever DM'd, and people will send in their worst experiences. And one of the things you can do is you can play online these days, and you can pay to be in these things. A paid DM is what they are. And this one DM was adamant that this was going to be a sexual orgy in a certain spider worshipping cult, and was like, but this is happening. And the characters tried to leave the temple, and it's like, no, you're stuck here. Wow. It's like, okay.
All right, well,
this is just going.
I was curious up until that part. Like, you can't hold people hostage. That's called non-consensual at that point, bro. And
that's entrapment.
That is actual
entrapment to your own fantasies there.
But I mean,
and nobody signed up for that.
Yeah,
like
and
if you tell people this is what this is, okay, well, if that's your thing, don't
free
yuck
country.
somebody's yum. But when you're
but
when you're forcing
that's
others,
different. See,
that's the thing. It's the other thing we're kind of treading with here is like this lady, the bad lady. She's got her own lens on this, and so in her mind, it's like a dirty BDSM Satan worshiping cult thing. Meanwhile, Parker's over here just being like, I'm trying to get to Mordor, you know, like he's like doing a different quest.
Like the people who I know who have done this are all, and they're from different walks of life. They're different ages, and it's like, hey, so we're all on our way to the store, and then something bad happens, and now we have to fix it.
Oh no, I broke a shoelace.
Like I mean, it can be as innocent or as bad as you want.
My question tied to this is this only happening in sort of, I don't want to say extremist, but like Christian nationalist type?
Oh, absolutely.
But like, is it happening in Judea? Is it happening in
Hindu?
In Hindu and like in Islamic faith?
I'm a big true crime podcast listener, and you will find that much like your slogan, if I can call it that, of human beings are human beings. You take them out of time. People are people.
People are always people.
And people are always people. It doesn't matter. So it's not relative to just Christianity.
Like, do we have Jewish organizations that are like, don't let your kids play Dungeons and Dragons?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But at the same time, is it going to have the effect that Christianity has had on this country?
No. Which is why it gets highlighted. I get that.
That's not the American story.
I got to call out this too, is that what we call American Christianity isn't even really Christianity.
So, to completely get us back on the rails here, we've got a guy in the year 1990 who starts to put together a report. He's known as kind of the knight in shining armor of all of this. His name is Michael Stackpole, and you can look up the report. It is named after Patricia, her last name. So you can
redacted.
It's easy to look that up. So the accumulation of the data shows that all of the graphs they had done, all of the reporting they had done it was unfounded. Yeah. There was no information based off of that. Yep. And that brings us back to how early 2000s was so great for nerddom, because the internet comes out. We get so much more information out there. So stuff like this doesn't happen as easily. Now we're finding the other side of that coin. Instead of lack of information, there's too much, even fake news information.
Sure.
Yep.
So take take it with a grain of salt. Humans are going to be humans no matter what.
Yeah.
So the statistics that he had pulled together, it was credible. All the sources they were finding, the murders that had happened, the self-exiting that had happened, all of the things that had happened were individuals. It wasn't the group causing this to happen.
These were just the journeys of these individuals' lives and the paths they were taking.
Right, and it wasn't anything. Bad was pretty much disbanded soon after that.
The thing that they really did, I think, to sum it up, was that they didn't just demonize the game. No pun intended. They didn't just demonize the game. They demonized the kid.
All right. So moving us past clubbing a faith, because I don't want to club a full faith, but I do want to make sure that we were abundantly clear about driving factors in this, that this was largely created out of nothing and dramatically blown out of proportion by a group of people who have historically been doing that for time immemorial, and will likely continue to do so, because they didn't just do it with the stuff we directly grew up with. They're doing it with the stuff my children are growing up with right now, your children, Parker, your children, Drew, things like that. So, unfortunately, that's a wagon wheel that just keeps on turning.
Right.
But so as the wagon wheel keeps on turning, and we know that song, that one's kind of just been on repeat, the same whatever. The wagon
that by Journey, Wheel in the Sky keeps on turning.
Don't bring Journey negatively into this. You can bring their keyboard player negatively into this, but don't bring Neil Sean. Neil Sean might be a jerk, but he's still a shredding legend. But the wagon wheel of the game didn't progress just repetitively and redundantly, right? It didn't just do this same old song and dance that its opposition did. The game, like it was intended to, it kept evolving, kept growing. Right. So when it comes out of the Satanic Panic era, we're in the early 2000s. So we are literally in our prime, right? Like, I don't want to say our prime. Maybe I'm in my prime right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in my prime.
I'm just figuring out who the hell I am. So
yeah, it's true.
So yeah, in 2000, the year itself, we have AD&D version 3 comes out, the third edition. Third edition sparks some interest in there. Goes more into inclusivity. So you have throughout that whole entire player's handbook, and I believe the Dungeon Master's handbook too, instead of he, there's she, which isn't done with books very often.
Oh.
So when I'm saying the Dungeon Master, she will, like those kind of descriptors, which pretty freaking cool. Is it my favorite edition? No.
We learned a lot about you right there. Is it my favorite edition? No.
Not because of that reason. Not because of that reason.
What did you mean by those people?
I'm just teasing you.
And I mean, if nothing else, it is proven that I'm not the only one, because they came out with 3.5 pretty soon after in 2003.
It was called 3.5 JK on that first one.
Yeah, the rules didn't make sense. We're sorry to have put you through that. So yeah, people love it or hate it.
That's exactly like what happened with Sonic. Sorry that you say that, but
the movies.
Yeah, remember they were like, "Here's teeth," and then we were like, "No," and they were like, "So sorry. Here's a new preview where we re-edited the whole film."
And Jim Carrey is a lot funnier this time. Yeah. Did you?
All right, so I won't interrupt you, but I just all right. Yeah. So the 2000s, the game was re-released new. I don't want to keep saying re-release, but the game relaunches. I mean, it's like every time there's a new incarnation, there's an evolution.
Yeah, there's new books. It's really, really hard because of the nature of Dungeons and Dragons for TSR, Hasbro, whoever owns the IP, to make money off of it. Because if you're not following their prescribed adventures, if you're making up your own characters. All you're using is the system to do it.
Which tons of companies do.
Right. But that was, until very recently, fine. Until very recently, Hasbro's president came out and she said that she wanted to...
Oh, is there a lot of litigation going on right now?
There was, but all of the fans and stuff came up and really like gave them what for, and was like, this is supposed to be open source. This is my adventures that I write are mine.
Right.
Like the only thing I'm doing is I'm using your system to lead my characters through it. I can use Pathfinder. I can use a myriad of other role-playing devices, which there are hundreds of at this point. But I'm using yours because it's easy to understand. The 4th edition that came out in 2008.
The only way you can get away with, if you were Hasbro or TSR, is you would almost have to claim the method, the model that everybody's using almost as like a proprietary technology.
Yeah,
and you can't really do that.
I can't remember exactly what their argument was. I didn't want to get into it because it's something I love so much that I didn't want to get into the jargons of politicizing it. And I'm lazy. I mean, I don't want to say that. No, I work really, really hard and a lot, and I've got a family on top of that.
You're definitely
And
not lazy. I've worked with you for 2 years, 1 volunteer, 1 paid. You're not lazy.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's like, if I was younger, sure, let's go out and pick at some shit. Let's go out and like take some tear gas to the face. But I'm not that.
We might have to do that again, just so you know. You might have to get in the pit one more time, friend. You know,
man.
So one here's a question about that though, because it brings up something really interesting. If you're just playing at home, what is the business of Hasbro? Like if you're just playing, I mean, why would Hasbro try to get? I mean, it's a game of imagination, right?
So say I wanted to.
Are we talking about a competitive type of thing?
No, we're talking if I wanted to DM online to strangers for like $20 a pop.
Got it.
I wanted, like, I wrote that story. The only thing we're doing is this. When it really came down to is that YouTube is a thing now, and big companies are getting built off of the back of Dungeons and Dragons.
Got it.
We're talking.
That makes sense.
Critical Role. We're talking Roll20. Is a company that you can make maps and sheets off of. And where does the line, like, where does Hasbro get its piece of the pie?
You write the story, so you create the story. It's hard to claim the method and models you're playing by because, you know, it's not claimed as a proprietary technology. So if you just don't call it Dungeons and Dragons, it's like that's the line for me, and my understanding is like, if you just take the D&D name off of it, they have no claim to it. Because if you think about, like, I am a huge baseball fan. You are faking being a baseball fan. Baseball, the reason I brought baseball up is because baseball is the evolution of several other games that they were like, what if we play by these rules or change this just a little bit or whatever? And, like, baseball, right? So, like, right. D&D kind of lives that, like, amorphous life, like, it's almost like Gary Gygax invented something that was meant to just be given to the world.
That's exactly what it was made for.
And then everybody's... Is Gary Gygax Nikola Tesla?
I mean...
And if you think about it, Tesla, like, creates all these technologies that are just supposed to be given to the people, and Edison's like, nay, we can profit off this.
In the way that he was a human being with his own faults and his own issues, absolutely. Not in the fact of, oh my God, Nikola Tesla is so much better than Thomas Edison.
No.
He should be put on a pedestal.
No, but what I'm getting at is that Tesla has a number of things that were just intended to be given to the people, and Edison found a way to profit off them, and so that became the method.
The thing. Yeah.
Right. So, like, I'm asking, is Gygax this was meant for the people, and Hasbro TSR was like, only if they pay me for it first.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
That's I would say, in my very humble opinion, that's it in a nutshell.
All right. So next time you see Mr. Potato Head, punch him in the face.
Yeah. Why not?
Take his eyes off so he doesn't see it coming first, though. And then take his shoes off so he can't chase you afterwards. All right. So, but this new world is, help me with how I'm describing it in the early season. Is it a rebirth? Is it an evolution? Evolution sounds like the right word?
Evolution is absolutely the right word.
Fundamentally still the same game.
It's youth culture and a sense of American pride in something that wasn't there before the the internet. Really, like I said, you were seeing nerds hanging out with jocks now and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, it's an evolution of not only the game, but evolution of human thinking, different ways of communicating, different ways of recreating together. And so, yeah, we're getting shorts and episodes of things on YouTube all of a sudden. And then recently, very recently, we're starting to see live action play, making huge amounts of money, and people are seeing its worth. The big hitters I had already mentioned, Critical Role, they just finished their 3rd campaign. They do an episode every single week, 4 hours long. And my wife watches it religiously. I can't do it. I don't have the time, right, or the job that allows me to listen to that.
Right.
But there are thousands of people that do. The other one, my favorite, because their episodes are like an hour and a half, and they're not weekly, is Dimension 20. Whereas Critical Role is one campaign, Dimension 20 does different types of campaigns, like maybe 8 to 10 episodes, and then they're done. One of them is called Fantasy High, which is about a bunch of what if one of the famous worlds in Dungeons and Dragons also had a town that had a bubble over it that was like modern American suburbia. It's dope. It's a lot of fun. Another one of theirs is Dungeons and Drag Queens, which has some pretty famous drag queens that have been on RuPaul or won RuPaul's Drag Race.
Hell yeah.
Which is awesome. They're insanely inclusive.
Love Ruru.
Dimension 20, yeah, RuPaul's, they're just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Dimension 20 is one of the IPs of Dropout. Dropout is formerly known as College Humor. So if you want to go back, College Humor, the original owners were like, nah. So then one of their employees, Sam Reich, bought it, turned it into Dropout, because he was like, yeah, we're not in college anymore. We dropped out, and ran with that. So he has his own streaming service. You can also find his stuff on YouTube. And Dimension 20 is just one of those facets. Phenomenal. Not last month. So in January, my wife and I and some friends, we went up to New York and stayed in Times Square to go to Madison Square Garden, where they were doing one of their shows live. Dimension 20 was, which is set in modern day New York. But if modern day New York was magical and stuff like that, like there was an undercurrent of like, okay, that's a centaur, but nobody sees it's a centaur. They just see it as a police officer. And it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. They sold out Madison Square Garden. They had sprinkling like lights flashing down on them. They had fire blowing up. It was to the point that one of the players, it had always been their dream to be a professional wrestler. They were like, we're here, let's just go ahead and do it. And the nerddom of them doing these fake wrestling moves in the middle of Madison Square Garden was just, you saw somebody's joy and their love of like what they're doing, but at the same time, nerds are gonna nerd.
Sure.
Like
My joy at Madison Square Garden comes from hearing the New York Rangers goal song. Well, most important question of the night for you. What was it like to be in that building and look up and see Mark Messier's jersey number retired and hanging there, Patrick Ewing's number retired, all those things that it might be a little dusty now, but like, Stanley Cup champions, 1994.
I saw that and I was like, huh.
Hell yeah.
If the Capitals would have been around back then, they wouldn't have them.
They were around in 94.
Were they?
And they
were around
sucked.
for 94. That's right.
Yeah. You're an
just-
expansion team.
We were just starting.
Who's
It's
won
okay.
who's won a cup more recently than us. Anyway, but MSG, greatest place on earth. That's cool that you got to see that experience, and a sold out
Yeah.
MSG is magical in and of itself.
That was
The sound in that building is.
Is that what the M
tremendous.
stands for?
Yeah, Magical
Magical
Square
Square
Garden.
Garden.
Absolutely, it's not Madison. Idiot.
there were a lot of pokes at Long Island, and it was great.
100%. So when you DM, when you play this game, right? You know, obviously having known you for several years now, like you're one of the good people in the world. So I don't imagine you're out there playing these evil variants that the bad lady would have come for you for. But you know, what type of game do you play? You know, we've kind of alluded to some of the things that you would accept or not. So it doesn't sound like you're so much of a hard ass as a DM. You're more into the fun and joy of it all.
I'm not, and I do have some players that are more into the rules, but seeing what they want and working alongside them and seeing like, okay, this person does want a little bit more description and adherence to some of these rules. I'm more than willing to put in the time and work to make that happen for them.
Right. So how does a basic game get started then? So, you know, we do all this character building, which can take so much time. I mean, it can.
It can take as long or as little as you want. Yeah.
Not everybody's as good at this game as I am, where they can just take Matt Calories' idea and repackage it like it's my own idea,
right,
and churn out People Door in 2 seconds.
Right.
But what I'm really getting at is when the game starts, we've got a character, it's got its backstory. Is it simply... It's scenarios that are initially put forth by the dungeon master, and then so you're writing or telling the story, and then we're all like just playing it out.
You're living in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're interacting with it.
So it's not like the bard gets to say, and then we went to this town next.
No, he gets to say, okay, I want to go to this town. And like, okay, you can go ahead.
And then the dungeon
master. If the group is like, well, we don't want to, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go alone. Or I'm going to stay with the group. And I'm like, okay, you're splitting the party.
What if
this is interesting?
What if the dungeon master says, no, you can't go?
That's if there's anything I've learned about customer service,
all right,
hospitality and stuff, you never say no. You find ways to guide them another way.
Because I'm excited about this because I've never played. I've watched limited YouTubes on this. You sent us a really neat one to talk about like how popular this is now and how socially acceptable it's become. Is like we watched a clip you sent of WWE superstars. Yeah, you know.
So that's Dimension 20. That's
the one.
That's the one that we saw live, and I really love. They also did one called Never Stop Blowing Up, which they play 2 sets of characters a piece.
Is it a Michael Bay production?
Oh, it's so very close.
Nice.
What it is they're all playing characters that work in or around the last non-blockbuster, and all of their first characters with all of their troubles and stuff get sucked into a VHS that is literally this 80s like action movie.
Hell yeah.
And they're all like, one's
That
a Vin
sounds
Diesel,
phenomenal.
one is a James Bond, one is like La Femme Nikita, and stuff like that. And they're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. They're playing a different role-playing game, but it's the same. They're cousins.
So, all right, but so to kind of wind it down, the reason I'm asking is because I think what I'd like to do is maybe entertain the potential for a playthrough. Now, I know some of these playthroughs can be extremely protracted, and so a game goes how long? However long you want it to?
Yeah, it depends on what I write up for you, kind of what you guys are looking for. I have something already in mind.
Okay. No, don't, because I want this to be completely reactionary.
So to get more on I think the feel of your question.
Yeah.
You would start with your character. I'd help you with the character creation and stuff. Then we would do something called Zero Session, where you guys either play together or I play one-on-one, where we feel out the character and put you in a scenario and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, this is how this works. That's how that works. Mainly, no, I don't even want to say that. I was going to say that this is mainly for people playing live action, but that's not true. I've played in and done this plenty of times when we're not recording anything.
So would you say then that with a game that has as much versatility and as much variation in it, this era of rules, like I remember when we were initially talking about this episode, part of the production was, are we going to cover this set of rules or are we going to cover that? And it became kind of not fun in a gatekeeping way to me, and I think to you to a fair bit. So what I'm asking in regard to that is, like, do we have to play by a certain set of rules? In your opinion, can we go back to those 2003 3.5 rules and play by those if we wanted to?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's socially okay.
Yeah, it depends on what everybody who's playing wants to do. And if somebody doesn't want to do that and they're outvoted, it's like, okay, I'll stay. It's not my favorite, or sorry guys, I'm going to find another campaign. It's just not for me.
Like, I still like to play NHL 2016.
That's a great game.
I mean, it is a great game, but like, I still like, even though there's been a game every year, I still like to play 2016 because I like the way that game played.
Right.
All right. So, okay.
Well, for the record, I want to explore this Joshua Chamberlain character. He does fix bayonets. His superpower is oratory and rhetoric.
You got to write it
he's
up. Right,
from
so here's what we need from you then. I need you to take what you've got in mind already and just make sure that whatever else you finish writing for us is just bonkers.
Okay.
Because I want it to be fun.
Sure.
And then I need you to tell us what we need to do to build characters.
Okay.
So that we can get that done. And I think what we're going to do is, as we get closer to maybe spooky season and we'll film it before then, but like when we get closer to spooky season and holiday time, when people are sitting at home and want to just watch some really cool, fun stuff.
Thinking about Satanic Panic.
Yeah, thinking about Satan. Not even the panic. They're just sitting in their homes, slow, heavy metal music playing.
Slow, heavy metal music.
I mean, hey, Satan is my zaddy, so.
Wow.
With a big Z.
Because I think it would be cool. Because I think one of the things I've learned about this show is I love all the talking. But when possible, when we can show people what we're talking about, I'd like to do that. Sarah Morgan really kind of hit that spark for me when we got into the kitchen. Because from the fields are nice. Here we are. We're at this site. But it's really us just look and point versus the interaction of doing.
Right.
Cooking was an awesome experience, and I think this will be kind of one of those, because if you're confused, because this is why I'm excited about it. We just spent 2 hours talking about Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm still confused about the game itself. I think I understand the concept. I think I understand the origin and its purpose, right, to be this nebulous thing that should have been given to the people. Hasbro, shame on you. But I don't think I understand how to play it at all yet, and I want to just go into it raw. So you write your story. You tell us what we need to do to build characters. And then we'll assemble a quest party.
Yeah.
Some friends in mine that are already kind of aware that we've been doing this, and there's a cast of people that would like to possibly hang out with us.
Yeah, just when I send all this stuff to you guys, let me know who they are so I can send it to them.
Nice.
This is very exciting. Drew, have you ever done a podcast before?
No.
This is exciting. Thank you for making your first time on Podcast Land on our show. Thank you for helping us step outside of our comfort zone, out of our normal box where we're talking about military textiles and tactics and the blood on battlefields and the politics that drive it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I need a break from all that from time to time. And when we're not doing history, as you know, we do lots of other things, heavy metals and blah, blah, blah. And when I say heavy metals, I mean alchemy, goddammit. I mean full metal alchemist. See what I did there? I did that just for you.
Little anime.
But what I mean is we engage in these other things, and I don't think people realize that these other things have histories of their own. And I think that would be cool to talk about, and now we'll show you. So,
and it's part of America's history. It's just part of our story.
You want to tell us a little bit about Drew Baca there?
Sure. So with a lot of things with Dungeons and Dragons, you can take just the game itself and just play that, or it can spread out to voice acting and painting and building, and it's just a myriad of whatever you want to do creatively. You'll absolutely find role playing with people. So I paint miniatures. I've got an Instagram called Drew Baca Paints Miniatures. And I try to keep up with it as much as possible. I'm a very slow painter, but that's because that's my Zen time and I do what I want.
I've watched you paint. Now that we could say it, because now that you have your your current position. I've seen you literally paint at my job.
Yep.
And you were very good at it.
Thank you. Yeah, I try my best. I've got 2 that are in the works that are going to be for both of you. One is your centaur boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's going to be a physical people door?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had to scratch build a little bit on that one, but it's
That is so exciting, Drew.
Are you going to build me a Joshua Chamberlain?
No,
I
he's like-
wasn't working on one, but no, now I absolutely am because I do have Civil War little miniatures. So. But I'm gonna have
I'm so
to-
excited.
I'm going to have to make it in a way that's also like high fantasy, which is going to be so much fun to try and
Can you
figure
just have
out.
a main T-shirt on?
No, he's
Because
going to have
how
armor.
long-
He's going to have his frock coat and armor.
The armor will have M just like dagger into it. Yeah.
Just carved into it.
The Republic of Maine.
Well, I wanted to thank you guys really quickly for having me on. I appreciate
Hey,
being able
anytime.
to nerd out about everything. I stretch myself thin with my hobbies. But
As a good nerd does.
Thanks for having me. And Parker, thank you for opening up. I feel like this was a really good therapy session for you in some ways. And I'm really glad that you were able to open up with me here.
Yeah.
And use it as a safe space.
Yes. Yeah.
Not a lot of people have one, and I'm just really, I feel
And and maybe we'll come back to this
thankful.
because what you're talking about, Drew, is important. Not a lot of people know. We didn't really explore this, but Parker grew up very heavily in this community, so we want to tread delicately and be respectful. But the perspective that he brings to this conversation is very unique. You can pretty much tell how Drew and I grew up and how we experienced this, if you're just listening. But Parker grew up very much in a different world than we did with this. So I want to echo that sentiment. I do appreciate just your thoughts on the matter. And maybe we'll explore that a little bit more because...
Well, I mean, I absolutely loved hearing it, and I love you as a person,
Well,
man,
thank
and
you.
I love how you've grown. So it's
Thank you.
I want to
all
learn
good.
more about Don't Dance, the Parker Russell story. Well, look, guys, it's been an absolute blast. I look forward to coming back to this and many other subjects. I look forward to putting together what is hopefully an absolutely insane... Is it a quest? What you have in mind, is it a quest?
See,
Oh, yes. Thank you for that. I look forward to it. I'm very excited. I look forward to doing new things this year, especially in the magical fantasy realm of wherever you're going to take us. Do we need a safe word? Not that kind of fantasy.
we could, yeah.
Oh. Oh, my.
We could make up a rider.
Should this be a History After Dark episode?
Wow.
How wonderful.
was-
Well, look, guys, it's been a blast. We'll come back to it soon. For our first time podcaster ever today, Drew Rittenhouse, for my co-host Parker Russell, I'm Pat McGuire. This has been the History Things Podcast. We're going to catch you all later.